Ma'am, hello.
Hello.
Ma'am, can you open the graded assignment?
Graded assignment of which week?
Week 8.
Week 8. Okay. One second. Yes. Is there any doubt in this graded assignment?
Yes, ma'am. Question, can you please say question number 10, 11, question number 10 to 15. Uh, I can remember that question number 11 and 13's process is almost same. Can you tell me the process?
Question number 11 and 10, right? 11, 10.
And question number 13.
Yeah, correct, correct.
10 to 12 is same process and 13 to 15 is same data. Same, both are same data, and the process of question number 11 and for 14 is almost same. That's why I want to know the process.
So here what is happening? Some piecewise function is given to you, right? I mean, they divided function into three terms. So here you have to find out continuity, right? Continuity and differentiability. So when you use continuity, we want that our limit should be equal to the value of function, right? So for that, you have to use left hand limit and right hand limit. So left hand limit means what? You are approaching that point from the left hand side. So when you compute the left hand limit, you have to use the expression given in given over the left hand side of the point. So that means here if the function is divided into 0 to 5 and then 5 to infinity, then for left hand limit you will take that expression which is from 0 to 5. That means this 5 e to the power t minus 5 minus 5 by t minus 5. So use this to be this is for your left hand limit and then function value is there, and the another one for computing right hand limit. So in that way you can easily solve such kind of question. Again, you know the how to compute the limit, right? So
Yeah, how to compute the limit is.
so for left hand limit, use
Hmm?
Function are nothing, either exponential function and polynomial. So we know that how to deal with such type of thing, right?
Your voice is cracking, ma'am.
Yeah, just one second.
Ma'am, instead of taking right hand and left hand limit, we can uh, t- take the differentiation of the function. Can we do that?
Sorry, what? Can you repeat once?
Instead of taking the limit, we can differentiate
Huh?
the function.
No, 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 you cannot do that because differentiability comes after continuity. So if your function is not continuous, how can you differentiate it? So you cannot differentiate. You have to use left hand limit, right hand limit for solving that question. That's all. Find the left hand limit using the leftmost, I mean the uppermost expression, right hand limit using the lowermost expression, and then you can easily substitute what you do. Just try once. Let's see what happens. Because it's nothing, it's just exponential function and polynomial and rational function. So we know all those things, how to compute the limit of such kind of functions, right? So okay, once I'll repeat
Hmm.
here. So see, there is some px is given to you, and such something is here, here is 5 and something is here. When your t is strictly less than 5, this is t is equals to 5 and t is greater than 5, right? So what you have to do for continuity of p, what we want, so we want left hand limit at p at 5 should be equal to right hand limit at 5, and this should be equal to p of 5, that means value of function. So for this, you have to use this expression. So let's name it to be a, and this is b, suppose. So you have to find out limit t tending to 5 of a, what this will be, right? And for right hand limit, you have to find limit t tending to 5 of b. What is this? So if you find these two things, then there is nothing. You just have to observe that if this and this quantities are equal, then your function is continuous. Otherwise, it's not continuous. And if it is not continuous, obviously it won't be differentiable. Got it? What I want to say. And now it's your job to find out such a limit, because I think we discuss how to find out the limit of such kind of
First of all,
function.
I have to find out the limit of the function exists or not. Then I have to
Huh.
differentiate.
Huh. Right. Because we know if the function is not continuous, then it won't be differentiable, right? Okay, so
Ma'am,
Lokesh. Yes, Lokesh.
I send you a question in chat box to you, ma'am. Can you please explain, ma'am? Why is the
Yeah,
first
so
option is wrong?
okay, so you have doubt in first option.
Yeah, ma'am. There should be, ma'am, for every value of x, you can the sign will be either -1 to 1. That's it, right, ma'am? That will be
Yeah, but
infinity
here
by
x
infinity.
plus is given to us, na? So x will go to infinity as x goes to infinity, right? So x plus sin x also goes to infinity. Here you have to use L'Hospital rule.
Ma'am, the you're to saying that the option is wrong, ma'am.
Sorry, let wait. So what is your doubt? You have a doubt in first option, right?
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am.
So here what is happening? This limit is given to you. So limit x goes to infinity, x upon x plus sin x, right? So this also goes to infinity and this also goes to infinity, right?
Yeah,
If
ma'am.
you substitute as x goes to infinity. So that means it's nothing but infinity by infinity form.
Yeah, we can apply that, ma'am. L'Hospital rule.
So if you apply an hospital rule, which of the following one can apply an hospital rule to evaluate? Yeah, right. So we can apply. So the okay. Now I got it. That it says that you.
Yeah, ma'am.
I think this option should be true, because we can apply an hospital rule. Because here x is there, so x will take care of going to infinity part. Although the value of sign will be between 1 and -1. But still, x
We
plus.
can take x plus x divided by x plus x by sin x.
Okay, so that means this condition limit x goes to infinity, 1 upon 1 plus sine x by x. This is you want to say, right?
Mm.
But in either of the cases, we can apply, but now here we cannot apply a hospital rule. But in this case, we can apply a hospital rule, right? What does a hospital rule? I think this option should be true, because it simply says that we apply a hospital rule or not. So here we can. So let's try to compute the limit, what it will be if we apply a hospital rule. And let's see. So this limit is quite easy, because this will be equal to what, infinity by infinity case. But here also you can apply a hospital rule here, right? So
Yeah,
Then
ma'am. There
this will
also,
be.
what happens after you are finding sine derivative as cos? After what will you do? So that is the reason you
Right, then
can't do
the
anything
limit won't
afterwards.
exist here. After that, okay, fine. So that means after this step also we cannot find what will be the limit here. And here also I think same thing happens. So if we apply L'Hospital rule, then limit x goes to infinity. This will be 1 upon 1 plus cos x, right? And here also this limit does not exist, because cos will shift it from -1 to +1 as x goes to infinity. So that means this limit does not exist. So that's why we cannot apply L'Hospital.
Yeah,
Right.
okay, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Now let's try to solve some of the questions from week 8. Okay, so this is your first question. I'll give you it won't take that much time, but let's see. I'll give you 4 minutes. Let's take to solve it. And please answer in the chat box. So the time is up to 8:17. Okay, so shall we solve this or you guys want some more time?
Then go
Let's
ahead.
try to solve this. Yeah. So what we can do, so here we have to match the graph of the functions and their equation of tangent. So first, what we can do, we can actually observe the graph first and then go for the tangent, because finding out tangent, we have equation of tangent formula. So what is the equation of tangent? We'll discuss it later. But let's try to solve what will be the graph. So here the first function is 3 f of x is equals to x into 3 to the power x. That's nothing but an exponential function, right? So it's 3 to the power x. So here if you observe, f of x is equals to x 3 to the power x. So of this function, so what we can do, we can actually compute the limit x goes to infinity. So here you observe that limit x goes to infinity, f of x is actually limit x goes to infinity x 3 to the power x, and this is also infinity. So that means x goes to infinity, the function value also goes to infinity. So here we have two graphs in which we can observe that as x goes to infinity, this graph says that function is also growing to infinity. This graph also says that as x goes to infinity, the functions is also growing to infinity. But here what is happening? So here we have such kind of behavior. That means it is decreasing toward minus infinity much rapidly than this function. So here we know that such kind of behavior happens when we have exponential term there. So if you observe, the graph of a to the power x will behave like something like this. Right, so this is a graph of a to the power x whenever a is strictly greater than 0. But because of this x factor, it can it can take negative values. So that's why the graph of function f of x is equals to x3 to the power x will be the option number 3. Okay, so that means I has a graph 3. Okay, now we have to find out the equation of tangent. So we'll do it later. Okay, so now here you observe that these two are nothing but the same polynomial with a difference of minus. So that means here there is no minus, but here we have minus of x, right? And the two factors are equal. So we know that these two are the cubic polynomials, right? So that means fx is equals to x into x minus 1 into x plus 1. This is a cubic polynomial. So it's a polynomial and of degree 3. And here the coefficient an is positive. So here an is strictly greater than 0. So we know that whenever we have such kind of function, then our polynomials graph will take such kind of behavior. So that means it will goes to infinity as x goes to infinity, and it will goes to minus infinity as x goes to minus infinity. So that's why the option number 3 will take the graph sorry, the option number 2 will take the graph of the first thing, because it's something like x cube, right? So that's why. And because of the minus sign, this behavior will it will get reflected over the x-axis. So if you reflect this graph over x-axis, you will get same graph here. So that's why the option number 3, that means this particular function, will take the graph number 2. Okay. So now we have to observe what are the equation of tangents. Okay. Is there any doubt in graphs?
The first graph is exponential, right?
No, the first one is not the exponential, because exponential won't have such kind of behavior. It's a polynomial's behavior, right? Exponential
No,
will
not
have this
that
kind
one.
of behavior.
The first option of x3 power x, it is
We'll take
exponential.
the exponential, right? So this function will have this graph, right?
Yeah.
This function will have this graph, and this function will have this graph. So that's why
But
one
not
goes to 3.
exactly. Not exactly that is exponential. It is behaving
Not
something
exactly.
different.
That's why here some negative line you can see, right? Because if it is exponential, then it will be positive. But because of this x factor, we have some negative values. So not
Yes.
exactly, but yeah, a little bit. Only because of x factor, this negative value has. But we can easily find out what are the graph of polynomial. So if you find out these two graphs, then the remaining one will be exponential. So
Yeah, that is fine.
that's another thing you can do. Now let's go to the tangent, find out the equation of tangent. So equation of tangent, so for that we have a specific formula, right? So we know that what is a tangent. So tangent, so if the function is differentiable, then tangent is nothing but a line. which passes through the point A comma f of A. So I'm talking about tangent at this point. So a tangent at this point is nothing but a line passes through A comma f of A with the slope f dash of, correct? So we know that if we have a slope and we have a point, then we can easily formulate what will be the equation of line. So equation of line will be y is equals to f of A plus f dash of A into x minus a. This is a well-known equation of tangent. Now what we have to do, we just have to compute f dash of A and substitute it. So here it's the point is given to us is 0, 0, right? So here A is equals to 0. So now what is f of A? So in case of first thing, when our f of x is equals to x 3 to the power x, f of 0 is nothing but 0 itself, right? F of 0 is nothing but 0 itself. But here if you compute f dash of x, so option is here. So if you compute f dash of x, then what it will be? So here we have to use product rule. So that means if I take the first function's derivative, so if I took x derivative, then it will become 1 into 3 to the power x plus x as it is, and the different derivative of 3 to the power x. But derivative of 3 to the power x is nothing but 3 to the power x. I'm right? This is the only thing. So that means it's equal to,
e to the power
here
log
some
3.
log term
E
will
to
be
the
there, log 3.
No. Dx of a to the
Log
power
3.
x type function.
Yeah, ma'am, log
So
3.
ddx of a to the
Ddx of
power x is
ax,
a to the power x log
ax.
x, right? Yeah, log or ln, fine, log base ex, log base ea. So here the log base, log 3 will come. So it will become 3 to the power x plus x times 3 to the power x log 3. But here if you compute f dash of 0, then it will become 3 to the power 0 plus 0 into this quantity. It will again become 0. So that means f dash of 0 is nothing but 1. Okay, so here we have f of 0 is 0, f dash of 0 is 1, a is nothing but 0. So then what will be the equation of tangent? Y is equals to f of 0. So f of 0 is 0 plus f dash of 0 is 1 into x minus 0, which is y is equals to x. So that means option number C, y is equals to x, or option number B is also there. So whatever we can choose in between B and C, we have to see the graph. So that means the first function will take the third graph. So that's why option number 2 is correct. Right? Now same thing we do for the remaining functions also. So here the second function is f of x is equals to x into x plus 1 into x minus 1. So f of x is equals to x into x minus 1 into x plus 1. So I will just simplify it. So it will become x square minus 1. So it will become x cube minus x, right? So if this is f of x, then what is f of 0? F of 0 is 0. What is f dash of x? It is 3x square minus 1. So what is f dash of 0? F dash of 0 is minus 1. So if you substitute in your tangents equation, it will become y is equals to f of 0. But f of 0 is again 0 and plus f dash at a. F dash at 0 means f dash of 0 is nothing but minus 1 and into x minus 0. So here the equation of tangent become y is equals to minus x. So that means the option number 2 will goes with A, and the graph is the first one. So that's why it means 2 goes with A and the first one. So that's why first option is correct. And the remaining one tells us that the fourth option is correct. Okay, so option number 4, option number 2, option number 2. Is there any doubt in this question? Anything which is not clear? Okay, so now let's go to the second. So here we just use it for computing equation of tangent. We uses the standard equation of line, whatever we know, right?
Ma'am, here f of a
This is the
equal to y
solution.
intercept, na?
F of a is equals to y intercept. So that means 0, 0. So that's why it's given 0, 0 point.
M equal to f dash x.
M is equals to f dash of x, because that's the definition of tangent, right? So tangent is that line which has slope f dash of a and passes through the
F
point
of
a
0
comma f
is
of.
y intercepted. We can't say f of a is y intercept because a can be if
I
a
mean,
is
yeah, here f of 0 is y intercept, correct.
Here f of 0, but if we
In general, if we
in
take
general,
a comma f of a, then
minus f of a plus f of a will be the y-intercept, constant term.
It's also depend on the function. So
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it's dependable.
So now this is the L'Hospital rule. So in the last question, we missed this quantity, this assumption that limit x going to c f dash of x upon g dash of x should exist. And whatever question we have discussed in the first place, there I missed this condition. So here for applying L'Hospital rule, you have to check all the conditions, right? So what are the conditions? So first condition is limit x going to c, limit of f of x is equals to limit x going to c of g of x should be either both limit should be equal to 0 or plus or minus infinity. And g dash of x should not be equal to 0 for all x in n. And x is not equals to c, obviously. So then if this limit, so that means if you take the derivative of two function and apply the limit, so then if this limit exists, then these two limits are set. So that's the statement for L'Hospital rule. So now we try to solve some of the examples. So suppose this is your example. So I'll give you 4 minutes or 5 minutes to solve this. So try to think and answer in the chat box. At least try to answer whatever answer you get, irrespective of right or wrong. Just try to answer. Okay, so then we can discuss. So it's 8:31. I'll give you 8:30. Okay.
I think there is x equal to 0 instead of y equal to 0 in second half.
Sorry, what?
In second
F of, yeah,
option,
you can assume f of x also. It doesn't matter. So this is same as f of x.
here is f of y.
No, it's okay. Y, x are just a notation for variables, right? So you can assume x in place of y if you are
मैम
getting confused.
मैम आज तो गेटेड असाइनमेंट 8 का लास्ट डेट है, तो आप थोड़ा सा वीक 5 तक आ चुका है। 6 to 8 का सोल्यूशन गेटेड असाइनमेंट का थोड़ा सा 1-2 दिन में अपलोड कर देना।
ओके हाँ। Again, this question based on L'Hospital rule, so you have to use L'Hospital rule. Okay, so let's try to solve this question. So here what is given? So a function is given in some piecewise manner. So we have to judge the continuity of function at, yeah, this should be y is equals to 0. No. At y is equals to 0. So that means at point 0 and differentiability of that function, right? So for continuity, what is the definition of continuity? That limit should be equal to the value of function. So that means limit extending to some point x naught, f of x, this should exist and it should be equal to f of x, right? The value of function. So this is the definition of continuity. So here what we do, we first compute the limit as y goes to 0 and then solve. So that means limit here y is there, so you can also take x, doesn't matter. So let's take it y only. So y goes to 0. F of y we have to take. So f of y is nothing but sine y upon y. So we want to compute this limit. But here you observe as y goes to 0, sine y also goes to 0 and y also goes to 0. And both sine y and y are differentiable function. So that means this particular function satisfy all the property of L'Hospital rule. So we apply L'Hospital rule here. So L'Hospital rule says that limit y going to 0, the derivative of sine of y will become cos of y and the derivative of y will become 1. So that means nothing but limit y goes to 0, cos of y upon 1. We know that cos is a continuous function. So that means this limit will be equal to cos of 0. And we know that cos of 0 is nothing but equal to 1. And it's already given that the value of function at 0 is nothing but 1. So which is equal to f of 0. So which means that our function f is continuous at y is equals to 0. So this option is not correct. It says that not continuous at y is equals to 0. This option is correct because it says that's continuous at x is equals to 0. Now for third and fourth option, we have to compute left-hand derivative and right-hand derivative of this function. And then try to judge what is the case. So if you compute the left-hand derivative, so left-hand derivative says that limit h goes to 0. F of a, so here in place of a we have 0, so that means f of 0 minus f of 0 minus h by h, right? So this is same as limit h goes to 0. F of 0 is 1, it's already given to us that at y is equals to 0 the value is 1. So 1 minus f of minus h, so f of minus h, for that we have to take this definition, so that means sine of minus h upon minus of h and upon h. So this is nothing but limit h goes to 0. So it will become 1. And see, sine of minus theta is minus sine of theta. If you use that definition, then minus minus will get cancelled. So here it still become minus of h by h upon h. So this is the limit we want to compute. But since we know that it's a rational function, so as and we know that this limit, h goes to 0, sine h upon h is actually goes to 1. So that means as h goes to 0, this will goes to 0 only, because 1 minus 1 will become 0, and this also goes to 0. So that means here also we have to apply L'Hospital rule again. So if you apply L'Hospital rule, it will become limit h goes to 0. The derivative of 1 will become 0, and minus of, we have to do the derivative of this function. So the solution is given here. So let's see. So this is the right hand derivative they have computed. So that means this is equals to limit h goes to 0. So if we apply L'Hospital rule, the derivative of 1 will become 0, and minus of, we have to differentiate sine h upon h, right? So if we differentiate sine h upon h, so it will become h square, and here h, differentiation of sine h will become cos h, minus of sine h will become as it is, and the derivative of h will become 1. Correct, because we have to differentiate in terms of h, and upon, if you differentiate h, then it will become 1. So right, so this is same as limit h goes to 0, it is minus of h cos h minus of sin h by h square. Now here also, if you apply h goes to 0, this also goes to 0 and this also goes to 0, because h cos h will goes to 0 and sin h will goes to 0. Again you have to apply L'Hospital. So I think if you do that, you will get that function is differentiable at y is equals to 0, but at least try to be computed one-sided derivative. So have you guys done in this form or some other thing you have applied? I think we have to do in this form.
Exactly this form.
this form only. Yeah? So limit h going to 0. So we have to apply L'Hospital rule. So it will become 2h. So here if you apply, it will become minus of cos h and plus of h sin h and minus of cos h. Right? So here it will become, this is equal to limit h goes to 0, 2h minus of cos h minus 2 of cos h plus h sin h. So we can distribute these terms. So it will become equal to limit h goes to 0. This will become minus 2 cos h upon h and plus limit h goes to 0. This is h sin h upon 2h. Right? So h and h will get cancelled out. Limit h goes to 0, sin x will go to 0. So that's why this limit will become 0. Now we just have to compute this limit. But here, as limit h goes to 0, this also goes to 0 and this goes to 1. Right? So am I right, or I have done some calculation mistake? Yeah, I have done some mistake here. Because this limit will goes to 0, but what about this particular factor? It is not the case, right? Okay, let's try to solve it. So here f of y is given to be sin y by y and 0 and y not equals to 0 and y is equals to 0. So we have to compute left-hand derivatives. Left-hand derivatives, limit h goes to 0. This is f of 0 minus f of 0 minus h upon h. Right, so this is same as limit h goes to 0. F of 0 is 0, so it is minus of f of minus h. So that will become sine of minus h upon minus of h upon h. Right. So this is same as limit h goes to 0. This will become minus will become plus. So it is minus of sine of h upon h squared. So here we have to apply the L'Hospital rule. So it will become limit h goes to 0. Minus of sin h will become cos h. And here we'll get 2h. Right, so I have mistaken here. So we have to actually I have applied L'Hospital rule here, which is not the. I differentiate this quotient first. What we have to do, we have to bring this h over the denominator and then apply L'Hospital. So now this is correct. So that's the thing. So now as h goes to 0. Okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Sorry, this is 1 now.
Ma'am,
Sorry.
sin h.
Okay, so now we can easily solve this. Just take the numerator, so it will become this minus and this minus will get cancelled out because sine of minus theta is same as minus of sine theta. Right. So if you take the minus sign out of the sign, then it will cancel out. So now what we do, we'll take h as a LCM, and this will become h minus sine of h upon h square. Now it's correct, right? So now also, if h goes to 0, this goes to 0, this goes to 0, and this also goes to 0. So again, we have 0 by 0 form. So we can apply L'Hospital rule. So if you apply L'Hospital rule, it will become limit h goes to 0. Now here it will become 1 minus of the derivative of sin x will become cos h upon 2h. Now here also, as h goes to 0, the cos h will go to 1. So 1 minus 1 will become 0. So again, we can apply L'Hospital rule. So by L'Hospital rule again, so it will become limit h goes to 0. So the derivative of 1 will become 0 and cos h will become minus sin h. So minus plus sin h. And upon the derivative of 2h will become 2 only, right? So as h goes to 0, it will become 0 only because sin h goes to 0. Okay, so this is your left hand derivative. And similarly, we can calculate the right hand derivative. So I think right hand derivative is calculated here. So this is the right hand derivative. So for right hand derivative, we apply the same formula. It will become sin c upon c minus 1. So this is same as sin c minus c by c square. Again the same thing, and again we'll get 0. In the left hand derivative, we are getting this term in place of here. So it is sin h upon 2. But all these two things will go to 0. So that's why left hand derivative same as right hand derivative, that is equal to 0. Okay. Sorry for this miscalculation. Is that fine? We just have to, use the L'Hospital rule repeatedly whenever we will get 0 by 0. Fine, or any doubt?
X tends to 0. What is the sin x by x?
This limit is 1, right? Limit x goes to 0, sin x by x. This limit is 1. We just calculated it by L'Hospital rule.
Yeah, but you said the 1 right and left hand derivative 1.
No. Right and left hand derivative is 0, not 1.
Okay. Rewrite it. Okay.
Yeah, I have did some calculation mistake here.
Can I just brief it again because I confused?
Yeah, sure. So here we want to compute right hand derivative and left hand derivative. So this is the formula for left hand derivative, right? F of 0 minus f of 0 minus h upon h. So here we substitute the values. So f of 0 is nothing but 1 minus f of 0 minus h, that means f of minus h. So here we have to use this expression, that will be sin of minus h upon h. But we know that sin of minus of theta is minus sin theta. So this minus will come here, and minus will get cancelled. So if you take the LCM of h here, because h is in the denominator, so LCM will become h here. So that means this will become h minus sin h, and in the numerator we will get h squared. This h and this h will become h squared. But here also, if you observe that as h goes to 0, this will also go to 0, sin h also go to 0, and h square also go to 0. So that means here also we are getting 0 by 0 form. So again we can apply L'Hospital rule. So if you apply L'Hospital rule again, so the derivative of h will become 1. Derivative of sin of h will become cos of h. And in the numerator, we'll get derivative of h square, that will become 2h. But here also, if you observe that as h goes to 0, this term, the whole term, it will goes to 1 minus 1, because cos of 0 is 1. So and 1 minus 1 is again 0. So here also we are getting 0 by 0 form. So we can again apply L'Hospital rule. So here if you apply L'Hospital rule, so the derivative of 1 will become 0. Derivative of cos h will become minus of sin h. So minus 1 will become plus of sin h. And in the numerator, we have 2h. So the derivative of 2h will become 2. So here at the end, what we have this thing, that limit h goes to 0. This is sin h upon 2. Right? It's not sin h upon h. So it's sin h upon 2. So this is 2 is just a common, a constant, right? So we can write it 1 by 2. Limit h going to 0 sin h. But we know that sine is a continuous function. So this limit will be equal to sine of 0. So that means 1 by 2 sine of 0, and sine of 0 is nothing but 0. So that's why left hand derivative is equals to 0. And similarly, you can compute right hand derivative, that will also equal to 0. So that's why the function is differentiable. Is that clear?
Yeah. So the thing is formula f of a plus minus h minus f of a, right? You written something f of 0 minus so
yeah, so
vice
both
versa
formulas
written.
are same. No, both formulas are same. So left hand derivative, some people some people write in this form, limit h goes to 0, f
Lecture
of
it is
a
given.
minus h minus f of a
This is what
upon minus
lectures.
h they will take. This is lectures. But what I written this thing, that limit h going to 0, f of a minus h upon h only. So here minus will get adjusted. So both things are same.
In the right it will be become same as a plus h minus f of a by positive h.
By positive h. So here we have negative h. So if you take a
It's
common
for
minus
right
one,
hand
it will
limit.
become same.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
This is for left hand derivative, no?
Ma'am, could you write for right hand derivative also? It will be complete.
Yeah, so right hand derivative will become this thing. Limit h going to 0. F of a plus
A
h
plus
minus
h minus
f of a by h.
H,
So here plus is there. So here minus is there.
yes,
Is
ma'am.
that fine?
That's
So
true.
if you have confusion, then you can check in this way. So A is here. So in the left hand side, we will have A minus H. In the right hand side, we will have A plus H. So the right hand derivative will involve A plus H, and the left hand derivative will involve A minus H. So that's why the name is right and left hand derivative. Okay, right?
Yes.
Okay, now let's go to the question number 3. So this is your question, just calculator. Okay, so try to solve it. I'll give you again 4 minutes. 850, 854. This is quite easy, I think, as compared to the first one. I mean, the second.
Yeah, it is easy, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, Shweta.
Yes, ma'am. In last question, the
Mhm.
derivative at x is equal to 0 was 0, right?
Right.
Okay.
Because left hand derivative, right hand derivative, both are
have
0.
zero.
So,
Okay.
that's why they get 0.
Ma'am, can you scroll a little bit up once? Just once.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Babu?
After we are finalizing the derivative right hand and left hand are same, that would be the tangent of that particular point, right?
That will be slope of tangent, not exact tangent, slope of tangent.
It should be equal, so that only we can get the derivative.
Right. It should be equal. Then we can get the. Because derivative is nothing but the limit of that particular quotient, right? If left hand limit, right hand limit are same, then limit will exist.
But I know actually the graph of sine x by x. So by intuition, I can say all the options
Right.
without doing any
That's
calculation.
right.
Yeah.
This type of question already practiced in assignments.
This type of question, third?
Yeah, it's in practice assignment also.
Practice assignment.
Okay. Hey, it's easy. You just have to differentiate
Mhm.
it and
Just
find
if we
the.
differentiate it and put the values, just from option we have to put the values and the answer will be as it is come from.
I mean, there is no concept here. You know the derivative, you just differentiate. So I think
मैंने जो
you
क्वेश्चन
can
आपको
solve
बोला
it.
था शुरू में, वैसा क्वेश्चन जब आता है तब चैलेंजिंग होता है थोड़ा.
Right. ये question तो easy
हम्म
है.
हम्म.
Okay, so let's discuss it. I don't think there is anything. So here g of y is given to be a polynomial. So if we compute g dash of 0, so then what it will be? So this is g dash of y. So g dash of y will become 5 of a5. Sorry, this is b. So 5 of b5 y to the power 4 plus 4 of b4 y to the power 3 plus 3 of b3 y square and plus 2 of b2 of y and plus b1. So this is the derivative of g at any point y. So here's we want derivative at 1, -1 and 0. So g dash of 0 will become all the terms involves y up to here, up to b2. So that means all these terms will become 0. So g dash of 0 is nothing but b1. Now it is g dash of 1. So g dash of 1 will be equal to 5 times b5 plus 4 times b4 plus 3 times b3 plus 2 times b2 and plus b1. So this is our g dash of 1. Now, similarly, we can compute g dash of -1. So in place of y, if you substitute -1, all the even power will stay as it is, and all the odd power will become minus. So that means 5 of B5, and this will become minus of 4 of B4, and this will become plus of 3 of B3. This will become minus of 2 of B2, and this will become plus of B2. So here the option number 1 says B1 is equals to G dash of 0. So right, so that means this option is correct. The option number 2 says 5 of B5 plus 3 of B3 is equals to 1 by 2, G1 of G1 dash at 1 and all those things, right? So if we compute this thing, so we have 5 of B5 and plus 3 times, okay, so we can compute the right hand side, right? So the right hand side says that it is equal to 1 by 2 of G dash of 1. So G dash of 1 is this, 5 of B5 plus 4 of B4 plus 3 of B3 plus 2 of B2 plus B1. And then we have to add, so we have to add 5 of B5 minus 4 of B4 plus 3 of B3 minus 2 of B1 plus B1. Right, and then we have to subtract 2 times G dash of 0, and G dash of 0 is 2 times B. So this B1, 2B1 will cancel out with minus 2B1. This term will get cancelled out with this term. This term will get cancelled out with this term. So at the end, what we get? We get 1 by 2 of 10 of B5 and plus 6 of B3, right? Because this is 5B5, 5B5 will become 10B5, and 3B3, 3B3 will become 6B3. So this is same as 5 of B5 plus 3 of B3. So that's why option number 2 is correct. Similarly, you can calculate option number 3 is also correct. So the answer is 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Is there any doubt in this question? Yes, Shailesh. You want to say something?
Ma'am, mine is like more of a general, just like in this after the from 7th week onwards, so ma'am, when the topic is like matlab, too bit heavy and the lecture videos are not that helpful. Like up to 6th तक जो learning था, मतलब the kind of teaching was there, that was something different. And from 7th week onwards, the topic also becomes very heavy. That's okay. I mean, topic heavy, that's not a thing. But I mean, the way the teaching has happened in the video.
भाई ये तो मैं पहले कब कब का भूल चुका हूँ.
अरे यार बैंड बज जाती है, मतलब वो it would have been nice had that 6th तक का professor had continued, मतलब.
The professor VCU is also a little bit tough, I know, because I mean they are taught by Sarang Sane sir, so he's like the
so
pure mathematics.
I mean it's not, I mean like many professors have their own way of teaching. So the way he teaches is that he already assumes कि the students know something and then he moves on.
Right.
So that extent, thoda jhatka lagta. Whereas the previous up to 6th week, it was like, okay, you are, I mean, student doesn't know anything, so I will help. That is, I mean, it's a different way of teaching. But suddenly, what has happened? Unfortunately, from 7th week, the topics level has also increased.
Right.
Whereas the teaching
भाई ये सोचो कि आर्ट्स कॉमर्स वालों का क्या होगा.
अरे मैं कॉमर्स में हूँ, मेरी तो बैंड बजी है.
ओ तुम कॉमर्स में हो? अच्छा.
So I am like struggling
to find that. I won't say what about the Hindi video because I think I know. What we can do, we can try to elaborate these topics in Hindi videos, so that will be helpful, I guess. Or else the live session is there.
Yeah.
Ma'am, means that we have to complete the chapter in less number of times. Then we have to see just one lecture, और बस उसी लेक्चर में हमारा पूरा कवर होना चाहिए, क्योंकि समय भी बचेगा, कॉन्सेप्ट भी आएगा.
और मैम द टॉपिक इज सच दैट वो 1 वीक का तो समझ में, जिसको कुछ नहीं आता वो 1 वीक में तो डेफिनेटली नहीं समझ पाता, वो उसको तो 1 महीना लगेगा.
नहीं समझ
ठीक है, मैंने जस्ट आई वांट टू कम्युनिकेट द थिंग, दैट्स इट.
Yeah, so for that we can't do anything. No.
Yeah.
But let's try.
It's a fate. That's it. It's a fate. We can't do anything.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
not in our hand.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks. Yeah, thanks ma'am, thanks.
Although what we can do, we can actually put live session, but if Friday को अगर release हो रहा है, so we have session on Saturday, so I think these things are also.
Now my only hope is जो पुराना videos है ना, जो like सब देखते रहता हूँ, so that way I hope to understand.
Ma'am,
हाँ
जो भी ऐसे
what
lectures, जो live lectures है जो recorded है, that I see मतलब last all the
हाँ
previous.
that can help,
I hope
right.
that. Yeah.
from what I
Okay.
can observe and I can see, the thing is people
Hmm.
are being almost all people are having the same concern. You can take the
Hmm.
poll for all the people and you will have a high
Hmm.
number of these things, right? So
Hmm.
what my observation and people's suggestions, like other sources are giving more like a presentation and the pictorial way of the
I mean,
the teaching
मतलब
the
I
way
am
is
saying
totally
कि
different.
कुछ मतलब मतलब if not anything, जो सिक्स्थ वीक का जो प्रोफेसर था ना, had he continued till like entire maths, that itself would have helped. मतलब I'm just saying the way of pedagogy, मतलब way of teaching is different for all people. मतलब
Because mostly the commerce students and other
correct.
Yeah.
non-maths background are
Right,
facing
right.
this problem.
Ma'am, and
Commerce
believe
and art
me,
student will
I mean,
surely
I'm
face.
just digressing from the topic. Logarithm was like such a fearful topic from me, but after that, we can like now I'm more comfortable with. मतलब that just saying, मतलब the way.
Logarithm is compulsory for all in the 10th, but
हाँ, लेकिन मतलब उसमें टीचिंग अच्छा था ना सिक्स्थ वीक तक, तो उसमें समझ गया, मतलब एटलीस्ट एक बार नहीं 2-3 बार देख के मतलब समझ जाते हैं, मतलब ऐसे
उतना समय मिलेगा
हाँ बट
तुम्हें
यहाँ
2-3
चांस
बार
मुश्किल नहीं है.
2-3
ठीक है.
बार देखने का.
Yeah, right.
Okay, yes,
Okay, ma'am.
Vicky,
Thank you.
do you have any inputs on this?
Can we solve some questions?
Yeah, this is fourth question, so I'll give you guys 3 minutes. I don't think it will take much longer. Okay, so let's try to solve it in 3 minutes. Again, instantaneous speed means you have to calculate the derivative at that particular point. So that's the meaning of instantaneous speed. And it's an easy sheet.
Ma'am, if you take more session, then I can give you the assurance we will score good marks, more than 80% in every quiz.
Yeah, but actually that depends too. I have other courses too, so but we'll see.
Because
Do you
everyone will
take
say,
the maths too?
No, only maths one, ES, and I mean I have in ES too. So DS,
Ma'am,
DS both.
this is
Okay.
span by moment. Just save this, okay, in your life.
Sorry, what?
This is span by moments. So like you can save these things in your life.
I know.
so
Make
ma'am,
your profession happy.
you are a graduation student or MSc student?
You got this answer, right? 86. Now you can talk.
Hmm.
No, I have done my graduation.
Oh, so you said you are in second year?
No, I'm not in second year. I have done my graduation. Yeah, I have done my graduation this year. Completed in 2024.
Oh, so you are in MSc.
Yeah, graduation means MSc, a master's I have completed in mathematics.
No, graduation, I am meaning graduation, that's BSc. Master's
No.
is different.
BSc. I have done BSc, MSc both.
Oh,
Okay, so let's solve this
And
question. So it's
answer is
nothing but
61.
change.
Wait,
86.
ma'am,
Answer
wait.
is 86.
Okay. Now, yeah, it's 61. Yeah.
Okay, so we just have to use a chain rule here. So because instantaneous speed, we have to find instantaneous speed means we have to find the derivative of function c at t is equals to 5. That means we want the value of c dash of 5. What is this? So, but here ct is given in the form of composite function, right? So here one function is there, which is f, and another one is this, the polynomial t cube plus t square plus t plus 1. So we can use the chain rule here. So by the chain rule, by chain rule, we can say that c dash of t is nothing but f dash of this whole polynomial, that means t cube plus t square plus t plus 1, and into the derivative of, that means dy dx of, dy dt of this whole polynomial t cube plus t square plus t plus 1. Right? So if we solve this, what we get? So we get, so this is the answer shown. So that means c dash of t is nothing but the differentiation of this particular derivative will become, polynomial will become 3t square plus 2t and plus 1, and the derivative of 1 will become 0 into f dash of the whole polynomial as it is. Now we want the value of c dash of 5. So c dash of 5 will become 3 into 5 square. So that means 3 into 25. So that means 75 plus 2 into 5, that will be 10, and then plus 1 into f dash of whatever thing we get here. So sorry, not here, because f dash of this quantity we have to consider. So that means 5 cube plus 5 square plus 5 plus 1. So it is 125 plus 25 plus 5 plus
156.
so it will become 156, right? So that means f dash of 156. But it's given to us that it's equal to 1. So that's why the answer will become 86.
The
Right?
chain rule, actually, can you explain it again? So here initially I did mistake after I realized it when I was solving the problem before. So
Okay.
initially this
So,
f dash and this again we are doing derivative and again applying. So
so actually what happens whenever you have composite function, so that means if you have a function, suppose h is your function in terms of f composite g of x, right? So this thing you can observe that it is nothing but f of g of x. So the derivative of h will become, first you will differentiate the outermost function. So that means f dash you will take. So that means f dash, and then the input will stay as it is. That means the input will be gx only, not g dash, and then you will multiply it by g dash of x. So this is the chain rule. So for example, if you want to compute the derivative of, suppose your function, so suppose here h of x is something like e to the power x square plus x by 2. Right? Suppose this is our function. So now this is a composite function we can easily observe. One is exponential function and then some polynomial is there. So now s dash of x will become first the derivative of outermost function. So e to the power x's derivative will stay as it is, right? So it will become e to the power x square. E to the power x. But in place of x, we have x square plus 1 by 2. So that means x square plus 1 by 2 stay as it is, into we have to take differentiation of this x square plus 2, x square plus x by 2. Right? And then this will become h dash. So that's how we have to use chain wise. So it's going to be chain, right? So it will become x plus 1 by 2 into e to the power of x square plus x by 2. Okay.
So here it is f of it's only one function I thought. It's f of a I thought. So it is not f of a, it is f of
No,
something
it
g
is
or something.
right. So here g is this particular innermost polynomial. G of t. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you.
Now this is the last question of this particular PDF. So I'll give you guys 4 minutes, I guess.
What is the question?
This is the question. Okay, sorry. So if m is a slope and tangent of the function px at point x is equals to, you find the value of m minus 1 over 3. Yeah, this is the whole question.
Okay.
So first you have to find out the precise expression for p of x, because p of x is modulus function. So you have to observe that which expression p of x will take around this point. So that means around this point you have to observe that p of x is greater than 0 or p of x is less than 0. Okay, because we know that modulus of x is x when x is greater than or equal to 0 minus x when x is less than 0. So in place of x, we have the whole polynomial here. Okay, so that means p of x will become x into x minus 7 into x minus 8 when this whole thing is greater than that thing you have to do. That's it. Otherwise differentiation.
इसका कैलकुलेशन बहुत लंबा आएगा.
No, I mean not that long. Once you figure out the expression, then it's nothing but a polynomial, cubic polynomial. So just differentiate it.
After finding the p of x, what should we do?
Uh,
Substituting
then
of.
then you have to find out p dash of 1 by 2, because m is what slope
Mhm.
of tangent. We know slope of
Okay,
tangent
okay.
is p dash, right?
M equal
Got
to
it,
p
got
dash
it.
x means derivative of
This
p
is
of
the value.
x. Easy.
Okay, so let's try to solve this question. So here a modulus function is given to us. So whenever a modulus is given to us, we have to figure out that what expression it will take around our point. So here point is x is equals to 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 is lying between 0 to 1, correct? So that means x belongs to open interval 0 to 1. So the point is 1 by 2. So x belongs to open interval 0 to 1. So if you observe this polynomial, which is x into x minus 7 into x minus 8. So here, if you take any point which is between 0 to 1, then this x will give us a positive value, right? Because it's a point between 0 to 1. So the value of x will be positive. But here, this value, that means x minus 7, will be negative. Because here we are substituting in place of x any value between 0 to 1, and this minus of 7, and 7 is actually bigger than that. So that's why this bracket will give us a negative value, and this bracket also give us a negative value from the same concept. So that means ultimately, if we take any point in between 0 to 1, this whole expression x into x minus 7 into x minus 8 will give us a positive value, correct? So that means p of p of 1 by 2. So that means the value of function around the point x is equals to 1 by 2 can be calculated by the same expression. That means x into x minus 7 into x minus 8. Because the positive value, that means if x is greater than or equal to 0, the modulus values will be same as it is x, right? But here in place of x, we have x into x minus 7 into x minus 8. So around this point, x is equals to 1 by 2, the value of p of x, the value of this particular polynomial is greater than or equal to 0. So that's why the p of x will attain the same expression. So this is the expression for p of x. Now we just have to differentiate it. So for differentiation, we simplify this polynomial. So it will become x into, first multiply these two brackets. So it will become x square minus 15x plus 56. And then p of x will become x cube minus 15x square and plus 56x. So if we compute p dash of x will become 3x square minus 30 of x plus 56, right? So now what is p dash of 1 by 2? So p dash of 1 by 2 will be equal to 3 into 1 by 2 square, that is 3 by 4, and minus 30 by 2, because x is there. So this is 30x plus 56. So 30 by 2 will become 15 and plus 56. So this will become 41. So we know that p dash of 1 by 2 is 3 by 4 minus of 41. Okay, so that means this p dash of 1 by 2, actually, have I made any mistake here? Sorry, minus will be, no, this minus itself, but yeah, 56 is plus, so that's why it will become plus of 41, right? So it is 3 by 4 plus of 41. So this is the value of m. So that means m is equals to 3 by 4 plus of 41. So what is m minus 3 by 4? M minus 3 by 4 is nothing but 40. So 41 is the answer. Okay, is that fine? Any doubt? Any doubt in this question, how we come to this particular expression? Because here what happens, if you take values near x is equals to 1 by 2, the value of this polynomial, that is x into x minus 7 into x minus 8, this is positive. Why it is positive? Because the first factor is nothing but x. So x's belong to 0 to 1. So in between 0 to 1, we have all positive numbers. So if you take any number, then that will give us a positive quantity. X minus 7 is there, but since x is less than 1, so x minus 7 will be a negative quantity. So that means this bracket will give us a negative quantity. And similarly, this bracket, which is x minus 8, will also give us a negative quantity. So minus will become plus. So overall, we have a positive quantity. So that's why around this point, the expression of p of x is nothing but x into x minus 7 into x minus 8. If here in place of positive, if we get negative, so if you get, if you have some point where we get the negative value, then you have to take minus here. Okay, because then because of the modulus function, we know that if x is less than 0, minus x will be there. So here in place of x, we have the whole expression. So if this expression is less than 0, we have to take our function to be minus of that particular expression. Okay, is that fine?
Like it would be minus x cube plus 15x square minus 56.
Right, minus of minus
Okay.
x cube and same. So here is the solution, and that's all. So now if you guys have any doubt from practice assignment activity or anything else, you can ask. we can solve these questions since we have time.
Can solve practice 5 to 6 to 8. Same question.
Ma'am, I have some doubts.
Which,
Mm,
which question you were saying?
Practice assignment
Sorry.
6 and 7, 8 all
Oh.
are same question, sub questions.
Okay. Yeah, this can happen.
No. I mean the sub questions, not same question. Sorry.
6, 7, and 8.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So here some greatest integer function, least integer function is there, right? So you have to take care of these functions. What will be the expression? But you want to solve it? I mean, you want some hint or something? Do you have doubt in this question?
No, ma'am, but actually while solving, I'm getting stuck in between. So
Because the
I know the
expression is
answer.
actually a little bit complex, so that's why.
Mm-hmm.
But here you just have to observe that this is what we have a floor function here, right? Floor of t. So around t is greater than or equal to 3. I mean, in the neighborhood of 3, how does this floor function look? That's the only thing you have to figure it out. Then all things will they are just rational functions, so we can take care of. Okay.
It's okay, no issues.
Okay. Any other question? Someone says some doubts, right? Anything else?
Ma'am,
Yes,
am I
Rakesh, you have
audible?
shared one question. Yes.
Ma'am, can you please explain the topic, ma'am? I didn't understand what was it. Linear approximation.
Which question? This linear approximation?
Yeah, ma'am.
ma'am,
So, yes, is. So, what's your doubt? Lokesh?
I don't know what is the motive of that linear approximation, ma'am. I didn't understand what you said.
Okay, so linear approximation means it's a way of approximating your function. So that means you know some behavior of function at certain point, and around those point you want to observe what will be the what are the approximation we can make. Suppose this is your function, and you know the value of function up to this point. But after this point, you don't know what will be the value. There is certain gap, and then you know some behavior of function. So in neighborhood of this point, using differentiability of function, we actually try to approximate our function. That means try to guess the value of function in a neighborhood of this particular point A. So the linear approximation is a one type of approximation. There are so many approximation, linear, quadratic, nth power approximation, and so many. But linear approximation is the first one. So in the linear approximation, what we do, we try to approximate our value of function using the equation of tangent. Because if you observe a curve, so suppose this is your function, then at this point, if you draw a tangent, then you observe that at near to this point, the value of curve and the value of tangent some sort of collide with I mean, they have a very small gap. So what we can say, okay, in very small distance, I mean, suppose A is here, then very near to A, if we have any point X, then we can say that the approximate value of function, not exact, approximate value of function at this X can be given by the equation of tangent. So we know that equation
ma'am,
of
is a kind of
tangent.
smoothing, correct? We are kind of smoothing the function and then trying to estimate, right?
Right. The same thing. So in place of smoothness, we just have that the function is differentiable once. So we can use tangent equation, right?
Yeah. Okay, ma'am.
So here the linear approximation look like something like this, right? So f of a plus f dash of a into x minus a. So this is nothing but the equation of tangent at point, correct? So you just have to substitute here. So if your function is under the root of x, then f dash of x will become 1 by 2 under the root of x, correct? And here x is equals to 4 is given to us. So we just f dash of 4 will become 1 by 4. And substitute the value, you will get easily. So you have to approximate the value under the root of 4.4, right? So that means here you have to compute L of 4.4. So whatever this is, that will be your answer. Okay, fine.
Yeah, my doubt was here L of, you write me L of 4.4, but I thought was it's L of 4, and that means you can replace X as a 4 right now.
Sorry, I am not able to understand what you are saying.
Ma'am, my doubt was why it was only 4.4, it may be 4.3, 4.2 or else anything like that.
Yeah, any point you can take, but I think
Different value.
calculation is little easy for 4.4. That's all. I don't know. Any point you can approximate. It's not what you can say forceful to take 4.4, but the question says approximate this value, so that's why.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Okay, so let's go to next question.
Ma'am, I have sent you a screenshot.
Yeah. The same question Elango ask now. That
No,
how to
Ilangu
tackle
is asking
16.
the question number 7, I think.
I think
No, this
the
one.
same one, na?
Oh,
This one.
this
The
one.
same one.
This one's
Yeah.
explanation is quite in the.
See, here you just have to simplify this f of x. So this is what? So this is the floor function we know. So if you take any t which is greater than or equal to 3, then here this floor function you can treat. So the floor of t for t strictly greater than 3, then what will be the value? Can you judge? So floor of any integer which is strictly greater than 3. It depends, right? Please mute yourself. So what you can do, you can actually, one thing is you can elaborate this function. So by that, so f of x, you can write in terms of, what do you want to compute? The value of n, right? So here what you can say, the piecewise function is given for 0 to 3 and 3 is greater than 0. So if you, for here we just have one expression, so take it as it is. When we take t is equals to 3, then we know that the floor function of 3 is nothing but 3. So at t is equals to 3, it will be 3. And when t is strictly greater than 3, so in between we can take any integer. So let's take it 4. So suppose t is between 4 and 3. So then what will be the value of floor function in this interval? So when 3 is strictly less than t is less than equal to 4, then what will be the value of floor of t? Suppose this is also strict inequality. Can you guys
It will
guess?
4.
Floor means least.
No, 3.
Oh, 3.
Three.
Yes.
Are you sure 3 right now?
3, but I think the average of 3. Average of 3 and 4, according to the option.
No, not an average of 3 and 4, because we know that this is
It
a
can be
floor function. So
integer.
greatest integer function. So greatest
It should
integer
be
which
integer.
is less than or equal to. So that's why the value is equals to 3. So that means
Mhm.
this is your reduced f. Now what you have to do, you just have to compute the left hand derivative, and the right hand derivative in this case will become, right hand limit in this case will become simply 3. The value of function we have, so value of f of 3 is equals to 3. You just have to compute the left hand limit, what is it, using this particular expression. So I think it's a polynomial. So at as t goes to 3, the denominator will become 0. So again, you have to think what will be the value of it. So you have to compute left hand limit using this particular expression, and you can solve it. Is that fine? Is that fine, or you want to solve the whole limit? Okay, so let's see. So here the left hand limit at 3 will become limit t going to 3 of this particular expression, which is t minus 2 to the power n minus 1 upon t minus 3.
So
So
here we
now
have to use the L hospital, no?
L hospital
Yes,
rule. Are you sure?
Because when you are
Yeah, right.
substituting
Because this is 3
3,
minus 1
hmm,
minus 2. 0 by 0 form will become correct.
hmm,
So 0 by 0 will become apply L hospital rule. Limit limit t goes to 3. T goes to 3. So in the denominator we will get 1. In the numerator we will get n times t minus 2. Right. So now it is easy. So the limit will be n times 3 minus 2, which is equal to n. So that means n is equals to 3. Because this is the left hand limit, which would be equal to right hand limit, which is equal to 3. Or function value f of.
So ma'am, L hospital is nothing but when 0 by 0.
Or infinity by infinity is there. But one restriction is that the derivatives limit should exist. So that means here if we did the differentiation, now limit is coming very nicely. So this thing should happen. Then only we
मतलब
can
कि
apply this.
ये पहली लाइन पे जब हमने ये फंक्शन लिख लिया यहाँ पे 0 बाई 0 और इन्फिनिटी आ रहा है,
हाँ
तो
राइट.
उसके
So
नेक्स्ट लाइन पे
इसलिए
हमको ये फंक्शन को डेरिवेटिव कर देना है
राइट.
ऊपर नीचे अलग से, ऐसा नहीं कि यू प्लेट की
हाँ.
फॉर्म में.
No. F dash and then G dash.
हम्म.
Okay, fine. And the last one is also the same thing. Or else what you can do? This g of t. So here also the value of function you can compute. So, and again, we just have to use the continuity. So here also limit the left hand limit at 3. So limit t goes to 3 of t cube minus 3 cube by t minus 3. So here also we'll apply L'Hospital rule. So it will become limit t goes to 3. So 3t square upon 1. So it will become 27. So 27 is equal to the value of function. So value of function is 3 into 3 to the power m. So that means 27 is equals to 3 to the power m plus 1. So 27 is 3 cube. So that means m plus 1 is equals to 3. So that means m is equals to 3 minus 1, which is equal to 2.
Ma'am, in the
So that's how we get.
first calculation, n into t minus 2 to the power n minus 1, because we know the rule that x to the power n ddx of x to the power n equal to n into
Yeah, n
to the
minus
power
1
n
will be
minus
there.
1.
But still it will become 1. So n minus 1. 1 to the power. Correct. So I missed this.
How can it be 1 n minus 1?
N into n minus 1, no? Derivative of.
Huh?
So then
anything
3 minus 2 will become 1 to the power n minus 1. So
The value of n, what will put in the place of value n?
so n is equals to 3 only, right? Because see, so this thing I have missed. So this is 1, right? N t minus 2 to the power n minus 1, correct? So now here if you substitute t is equals to 3, it will become 3 minus 2 to the power n minus 1. That means n into 3 minus 2 to the power n minus 1. But 3 minus 2 is nothing but 1. So 1 to the power n minus 1 is same as 1. So that's why the value of n still remains 3. Fine? Is it fine? Okay. Anything else? Any other question?
Ma'am, can you explain the graded assignment week 5 question number 12?
Week 5?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 1 minute. Can you share the screenshot of question if possible? Because in my graded assignment question is little bit short.
Okay, ma'am.
Is this the question
Ma'am,
f of x is equals to 1 minus x to the power 1 by 2?
No, ma'am, there is two graphs are given, and one graph is the inverse of other graph.
Okay, I got it. F of x, g of x, p of x, and q of x. This one?
Yes, ma'am.
This is the question, no? So here you have to use the fact that the inverse of function f of x and f inverse of x graph, you just have to take a symmetry along the line y is equals to x. So suppose you have some graph of f of x, then the graph of f inverse is nothing but a symmetric graph along this axis y is equals to f of x. So here it's given, let f of x, g of x, p of x, q of x be a function defined in R. Figure, choose the correct option. Okay, g of x may be the inverse of f of x. So here if you draw a line y is equals to x, so can you find a symmetry? So answer is yes, we can find a symmetry, right? So here this is nothing but symmetric to this graph, and this graph is nothing but symmetric to this graph. So that means g of x may be the inverse of f of x. So this option should be correct, right? Now similarly here, if you consider a line y is equals to x, so can you find a symmetry? So yes, this is also symmetric. So I think both options are true. So these are the options. So g of x may be the inverse of f of x because correct, again, we have a symmetry. If you draw the line y is equals to x, then this g of x is nothing but mirror image of f of x, right? So the same pattern we are following, same pattern. So that means g of x may be the inverse of f of x. Again, via the looking the graph, we exactly cannot say, but it is possible that g of x may be the inverse of f of x. The second option is p of x and q of x are even function, but f of x and g of x are neither even nor odd. Okay. So now for inverse, we observe the criteria that if a function, if g of x is the inverse of f of x, then its graph will be the symmetry along y is equals to x. But suppose a function is even, so that means let's say f is a function which is even. Even means f of minus of x is equals to f of x, right? This is the definition of even. So if you observe the graph, then what is happening? At point x and at point minus x, we are having the same value of y. So that means at point minus x and at point x, we are having the same value, f of minus x and f of x. F of x is equals to f of minus x. So that means if we have a even function, that function will be symmetric about y-axis. Okay. So here the one notice, f inverses graph will be symmetric about the line y is equals to x, and the even function are symmetric about y-axis. So here, if you observe that this function f of x is not symmetric about y-axis, because if it should be, it will be symmetric if it will behave like something like this, right? Then it will be symmetric. But here you observe that neither f of x nor g of x is symmetric about y-axis. But if you observe p of x, then if you put a mirror over y-axis, then you get that this is nothing but a mirror image, right? That means p of x is symmetric about y-axis and q of x is symmetric about y-axis. So that's why p of x and q of x are even function, but f of x and g of x are neither even nor odd function. Now, this is the symmetry
Ma'am,
for even
we have
function.
to put the mirror on x-axis.
No,
Then
for in case of even function, we have to put the mirror on y-axis. In case of odd function, we have to put the mirror, not the mirror on y-axis, but it will be symmetric about the origin. So that means f of minus x is equals to minus of f of x. So whatever value function takes here, so suppose this is f of x, then this should be minus of f of x. So about the origin, if we have symmetry, then that will be odd function. So three things are here. So if we have symmetry about the y-axis, then it will be even function. If we have symmetry about the origin, then we have odd function. And if we have symmetry about y is equals to x-axis, then they will be inverse of each other. Okay.
लेकिन अगर x y
Can
में
you
मिरर
repeat
रखेंगे
again?
तो दिखेगा कैसे फंक्शन का इमेज?
Okay, now try to see it by graph. That will be much more helpful.
मैम ऑड फंक्शन के लिए क्या कंडीशन थी?
About the origin. So see, inverse is clear, right? There is no doubt in inverse. That inverse will be symmetric about y is equals to x. Now let's go to even and odd function. So one of the even function is a parabola, right? Y is equals to x square is a even function. So here if you put any even function, so suppose y is equals to x square, then this even function is symmetric about y-axis, right? So that means x is equals to 0. X is equal to 0 is the y-axis. So this graph, this y is equals to x square graph is actually symmetric about y-axis, correct? This blue line. If you put a mirror over this blue line, you will get the mirror image on both sides. So that's why even function are symmetric about y-axis. Is that fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, the odd functions are symmetric about the origin. So that means let's take one odd function. So suppose x cube is there. So whatever behavior it will possess over the right hand side, so such kind of behavior, so symmetric about the origin. So that means if you take it and pull out from the other side of the origin, they will be symmetric. So symmetric about origin, you can think like that. So symmetric about origin means what we can say, mirror image about the line y is equals to minus x, maybe. If we have this line, no, not mirror image of y. So symmetric about origin means, so suppose one point is here. So suppose this is the point. So any point you can take. So suppose one point is here, then the minus of that point in the third coordinate. Okay, so pull that point into third coordinate. So whatever the graph will be there, that is the meaning of symmetry about origin. Is that fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, it's fine.
So that's why the second option is also correct. Q of
So
x could
the
not
figure,
be inverse.
the figure A is a cubic function, we can say.
Figure A.
Maybe.
Yeah, cubic maybe, but something will be there.
And the figure 2 should be x square plus 1 function because it's not touching the origin.
Right. So either x square or any even power you can say. With
Even
one
power, x square plus anything.
Okay, so
Ma'am, just
that's
go to week 8. Oh, don't stop. Don't
yes,
stop
Lokesh.
sharing.
They have shared a question that time. In
Lokesh, I don't
chat
know
box.
which theorem?
That question, ma'am, f of x equal to root x. For that, when we differentiate it, it's again to 1 by 2 root x. If we substitute x equal to 4.4, again I need a 4.4, right? I mean, that 4.4x. That's a problem. Can you please tell it? Can you
Actually,
please
Lokesh,
solve?
I'm not actually clearly listening. Your voice is echoing. I mean, I'm not getting what you're saying. So one thing you can do, you can message in chat, or if anyone else here listening, they can explain. Lokesh, please message in chat. That will be helpful. Okay, so what's the doubt in week 8 assignment?
Yes, ma'am, just open.
Week 8, which question?
Question number, I think I can remember. 6 is 6, 2, and 9, I think.
Graded assignment?
Yeah, graded.
Yeah, actually I cannot open that. I have the solution too.
Oh, permission नहीं है?
नहीं.
अच्छा.
मैम वीक
Just
8
try
का
it once if
एक्टिविटी
yes,
8
please.
वीक 8
8 point?
एक्टिविटी 1 8.1 क्वेश्चन नंबर 4.
Okay, so 8.1 question number 4.
मैम आपने जो टॉम एप्पल का कैलकुलस का बुक पढ़ा था ना, उसका वॉल्यूम 1 मैंने चेक करा था, वहाँ पे एक लेवल थोड़ा सा आप है.
हाँ राइट, टॉम अपोस्टल थोड़ा थ्योरेटिकल है, सो लेवल थोड़ा अलग रहेगा एज कंपेयर टू व्हाट दैट अनदर बुक ना, कैलकुलस प्रिंसटन पब्लिकेशन ऑफ थॉमस, उससे थोड़ा सा इज दिस द क्वेश्चन प्रियांशी?
यस मैम.
हाँ, सो हियर डिफाइन
ऑप्शन नंबर 2 गलत क्यों है? व्हाई ऑप्शन नंबर 2 इज रॉन्ग?
ओके, So option number 2 says that f is continuous if and only if a is equals to b is equals to 0. So if and only means this statement, this direction should be true, and this direction also should be true. So here one thing is, so suppose f is continuous. Suppose f is continuous. So if f is continuous, then f is also continuous at x is equals to 1. So if we compute left hand limit at x is equals to 1, it is nothing but limit extending to 1 of ax, right? And this is same as a. And what is the right hand limit at x is equals to 1? So at x is equals to 1, the right hand limit is limit x tending to 1 of bx square, which is again equal to b. So if f is continuous, then a is equals to b. That's correct. But the converse should not be, converse is true or not. That's what we have to say. So that means if we take a is equals to b, so can we conclude that f of x is continuous? So, okay, so if a is equals to b, then what is the left hand limit of f at x is equals to 1? I think I used the wrong expression. This will be your right hand limit, this will be your left hand limit. Because less than we have bx square. So the left hand limit of x is equals to 1 will become bx square, which is again ax square. So ax square means a only. And the right hand limit will become a only. So they are same and they should be equal to the value of function. So the value of function at x is equals to a is ax, so which is a. So yeah, it should be correct now. F is continuous if and only if. No. A is equals to b is equals to 0 is given to us. So if and only if this condition is not now I sorry. So here the catch is, if you say that your function is continuous, it only guarantees us a is equals to b. It won't say a is equals to b is equals to 0. So that means you can choose a is equals to b to any number other than 0, but still our function is continuous. So for example, if I take a is equals to b is equals to 1, then what will be f of x? So then f of x is nothing but x and x square when x is greater than or equal to 0, when x is less than 0. So this function is also continuous, right? So what does this statement says? It says that if f is continuous, then it is implying a is equals to b is equals to 0. But a is equals to b is correct, but it's equal to 0 is not correct, right? So by continuity, we can just only say a is equals to b. We cannot say a is equals to b is equals to 0. So because of this 0 only, this option is not true. Okay, is that fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, actually it can be, but if and only the condition given,
If
so
and
that
only if the
only it is
continuation
wrong.
is there.
So that it can be. So third and fourth options are correct.
Sorry, what? That's why this fourth one is correct, not the second one.
Third also correct.
Fourth is continuous. And third also correct, because if a is equals to b is equals to 0, then function is nothing but 0, right? F of x will be equal to 0. So that's a constant function, so it is continuous. So that's why this option is correct. This option is not correct because it's saying if and only if. So that means this direction should be true and this direction should be true. So the other one is true because if a is equals to b is equals to 0, then f of x is just a constant function, so it will be continuous. But the other one, that means continuity, is simply implying a is equals to b. It is not restricting us to a is equals to b is equals to 0. So that's why this option is not correct. And similarly, I think f is always continuous. This option is also not correct because if you take a and b to be distinct values, then it won't be continuous. Okay, is that fine?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, activity number 8.2.
Okay, in 8.2, which question?
Question number 9.
8.2, question number 9, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So here
Ma'am,
consider a figure.
ma'am, in this, why option number 4 is correct?
Okay. Let's see. This one, no?
Yes, ma'am.
So what does 4 says? That there are at least 2 points where the derivative of f are non-zero but same. Okay. So that means there are at least 2 points. And this is the graph where the
It's a
derivative of f
sine
are
graph.
it's just a sine graph. So I think this option are
No, it
non-zero
is
but the
correct only,
same.
ma'am.
So right, it is
Because
correct. The derivative will become
non-zero.
cos and we have so big range.
The thing is, the zero means it is the parallel to x-axis. So then it is a non-zero. It is a zero. So apart from that, all the points are the
Points.
derivatives. Yeah, mostly same only.
Yeah,
More than 2
same.
points.
This option should be correct. Yeah, this option is correct.
She is asking why it is correct.
Oh, why it is correct. Sorry. So see, this is nothing but a sine function, right? So if you take the derivative, it will become f of x to be equal to cos of x. Correct? This is a graph of sine function. We can easily check it's oscillating between -1 and +1. So we know
0
that
to
cos
pi
of
by
x is
2.
also sorry. Yeah, whatever the range of oscillation is. So the derivative of this function, so that means this is f of x is equals to sine of x. So the derivative f dash of x will become cos of x. But cos of x is again a oscillating function. So the graph of cos of x will look like something like this. So that means just shift this function over this particular interval, right? Shift over this side pi by 2. Right? Then you will get cos function. And we know that cos function has same value at so many points. So these are all points where the function value is same. So that's why the derivative of f are non-zero but the same. And those values are same. So the reason is the derivative of this function is nothing but again an oscillating function, which will have positive values at certain point and same values at certain point.
So, ma'am, cos x is a bounded function.
Yeah, bounded function, but it will have so many values. I mean, so many input point will give us the same output, right? So this is the function.
Because
And
if
if
we
you
draw,
draw one line here, then there are so many intersection points. No? So that's why this option is correct.
but it could be in the case of sine also.
Yeah, it could be in the case of sine. That's also true.
But if we going to judge a sine function is bound or unbound, what will you say?
Doesn't matter now. If it is bounded, then it is bounded. So bounded won't give us anything about the different points. Right? Is that
Here,
clear, Priyanshi?
Yes, ma'am, it is clear.
here the interval saying -5 to 5 means the integration lower limit is 5 and the upper limit lower limit is -5 and upper limit is 5. No.
Means bound. They just given a graph of that particular range, but it will go to infinity too.
No, not the range. It was like domain, right?
Domain, -5 to
Domain.
5 is domain.
That particular domain, yes. And moreover, and the sine function, when you are deriving that as it will become as cos. I've seen a video in a tutorial. Okay, there is I don't understand when I'm drawing this linear approximation, how it is becoming as cos. Can you just draw it?
Okay, so let's try. So this is the sine function, right? So at 0, what will be the derivative? Okay,
You
so you are
write the
saying if you
tangent.
draw linear approximate tangents here, just showing the curve only. So yeah, that's true. But see, what can I
How?
say here is
No, that tutorial there is a video. Same is drawing that linear approximation on a sine function, and he is saying that, so see, it is oscillating like cos, and he is showing as a illustration of that video. I understand, but I don't know exactly how it is fixed that into cos. For example, if you are taking exponential e power x, when you are y, it is same as like it's e power x only, the derivative is. If I'm writing the if I'm drawing the linear approximation on the curve e power x, the values are same, the slope are same, and the y value also same. That's the reason it's same. That is a special function.
For sine, actually, I don't know how they pictorial draw it, because if I draw the tangent here, it will be same along the curve only. So what they have done, not sure. So what they have done, they have computed the derivatives at several points and then draw the tangents.
No. Just it's a graph, right? One line will oscillating here and there. It's a video kind of thing. It's not drawing.
Okay. Okay, I'm getting. They have some GeoGebra file or something like that.
Yeah, correct. How you are oscillating and how you are telling this is so exponential is very easy.
Exponential is easy because it derivative is again e to the power x. So it's easy.
Yeah, right. So same y value you are getting. At each and every tangent of the curve, you are getting the same y value, so that it is the derivative is same. While in the sine function, their derivative is cos. A little bit, I am confusing that.
Actually, I'm not sure what they have did, but I think they have uses some GeoGebra which shows that such kind of behavior. Something that at this point the tangent will parallel to x-axis, and at this point it is getting value 1. So 1 point we can observe without the file. So suppose this is our sine curve, right? So at initial point, the tangent will be at of 45 degree, right? So that means the slope of tangent will be equal to 1. And at this point, the tangent will be parallel to x-axis. So that means here it will be 0. So what is cos? Cos also behave like sine, right? So cos of 0 is equals to 1. And cos of this value will be pi by 2. So cos of pi by 2 is equals to 0. So I think that's how they are computing. At pi, if you compute the tangent, it will be, the slope will be minus 1. So again, we know that cos of pi is also equal to minus 1. So I think that's how they are doing.
Okay.
I have texted you, ma'am, what my problem. Can you please resolve it? Hello, ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, Lokesh, you have shared one question.
Yeah, I texted
Question we have under the root of x can be differentiate to give 1 by 2 root x, correct? While we substitute x is equals to 4.4, then in f dash of it, it again rises under the root of 4.4 in 1 by 2. Okay, so you are saying, so this is our linear approximation. So it is f of a plus f dash of a x minus a. So here in place of a, you don't have to take 4.4. They are saying approximate around a, right? Around x is equals to 4. So you have to take, in place of a, you have to take 4 only. A is equals to 4. And then in place of x, you have to take 4.4. So that's the thing here. So L of x will become f of 4 plus f dash of 4 into x minus a. So now you will get one linear function. So f of 4 will become 2 plus f dash of 4 will become 1 by 4 because it's equal to 2 root 4. So that will be 1 by 4 into x minus a. So now here you have to find out L of 4.4. So L of 4.4 will be 2 plus 1 by 4 and bracket of 4.4 minus 4 because again a is equals to 4. So that's how you will get your answer. So this is same as 2 plus 1 by 4 into this will be 0.4. Right? So this is 2 plus 4 by 10 into 4. It got cancelled out. So it will 2.1 is your answer. Is that fine for you, Lokesh, now?
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. I got it, ma'am.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, that's all. So we can end our session today.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks
Then-
for the session.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining. I'll upload the PDF into the calendar link, whatever is there. Bye bye. Good night.
Yes, good day.
So, ma'am, that's all for today.
Yeah, that's all for today.
Ma'am, your next session, can you give some approximation about the timing of your next session?
Next session, I think I'll take one of the session in week 9. So it may be somebody or somebody.
This will be your
But
last session.
No, not the last session. For week 8, I'm saying.
Oh.
Week 9, I can take one session. What you asking?
Week 9.
Week 9, maybe I'll take one session.
And
Or else I will take one of the revision session.
you will take some revision session because this will help.
Yeah, I'll take one revision session. One revision session will take, I mean, Vishal sir will take one revision session. One revision session I will take. And there will be mock session and all those things.
And try to join us with maths too also in the January.
I'll try. Maybe. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Good night.